For today's project, our fifth project in this series, we're going to be building on what we did in project 4, which is to solve our maze using the left-hand rule. So here's what we did in project 4. Let's see what happens with this. Let's turn it on. It'll start up automatically. And what it's doing is it's looking to its left. It has to turn to its left to see if there's a wall there each time until it finds the goal. So it knows which location on the map it's at as an X and a Y direction. And it can tell when it gets to its goal. But it's not saving any information. It doesn't know any information about the boundary. So what we're going to do for this project is we're going to make a map. So we're going to continue to use the left-hand rule, but we're going to, as we go, we're going to make a map. So let's see how that works. So we're going to start out with a map that contains all of these walls all the way around, and we're going to actually use a larger maze. So we're going to go from 3 by 3 to 3 by 5. And for this, we have to push the button. Now, the first thing you'll notice is that it did not turn to the left to check if there's a wall there, because it starts with a map that has all of the walls already in it. So it already knows if there's a wall to the left. In fact, we can remove these walls. And let's use them in some other way. Let's put some walls up, shall we? And we don't need to put any of the walls around the edge. What else shall we do? Put one here. Let's put one here. And let's put one here. So what we're trying to do as we go, each time we find a new wall, we're going to put it in the map. Start it. And, okay, version 2.1. Now, as you see here, it has to turn to figure out that there's a wall there. But, and this is important, once it knows there's a wall there, it doesn't have to turn again, because here it turned again. Now watch it as it goes down the straight way. It already knows these two walls exist, because for each wall, when it finds one on this side, it knows that it can put in the map that there's a wall on this side as well. So by the time we get here, we already know, because we've gone all this way and all the way around, that all of these walls already exist. And what we want to be able to do now is run it again, because we've already created a map of the walls. Let's run it again. So it won't have to turn to figure out where the walls are. It's just going to use the left-hand rule, which isn't terribly efficient, but it doesn't have to figure out where the walls are, because it's made a map and it's kept the map. But it is still following the left-hand rule. which means it has to go a little bit of ways. Okay, so what we're doing in Project 5 is we're building on what we did in Project 4 to now keep track of the map. And we're going to keep track of the map in an array. It's going to be an array of arrays of arrays. There's going to be an array that holds these intersections, these 5 intersections, and these 5 intersections, and these 5 intersections. So there'll be an array that holds these 3 arrays, 1, 2, 3, and that's going to be X, 0, 1, 2. The arrays that array holds will have 5 locations, and that'll be the Y, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 will be the Y. Now for each crossroad, we'll have an array of 4 possible walls or not walls or unknown. So for each direction, north, east, south, west, or 0, 1, 2, 3, we will have information as to whether there's a wall there, whether there's a clear, meaning there is no wall, or if we just don't know about it. So all of our walls will start out knowing about the ones around the edge, but unknown as to anything else inside here. So as we go along and we come across a wall we don't know, we will have to turn towards it to see if there's a wall there. Using the rangefinder, we'll see if there's a wall there. If there's a wall there, then we'll just go ahead and turn again, until we get out of that particular cul-de-sac. And as I said before, each time we find a wall, we know there's a wall from the other side. So if we find a wall here, we want to also say that in this location, which is one crossroad ahead, turned 180 degrees around, there's a wall here. If there's a clear, like if we go here and we use the rangefinder, we find that there's no wall there. We also know that there is no wall this way either. So we're going to keep track of that in our map. And then each time we go through this, we will know in advance, because we've already run it once, the second time through, we know where all the walls are. So we're not doing a lot of turning. Now, you could just keep track of the turns that you made, but that doesn't set us up for Project 6. Project 6 is to swap out the left-hand rule for a much better way of doing it. It's called flood fill. And with flood fill, as our map becomes better, as we know more of the maze, flood fill will actually give us an optimized way to get through this map. So instead of having to go over here and look, see if there's walls, by the end of our 6th project, we will just go in the most efficient way. We will know enough to map it out. So we want to make a map in this project. Okay, so that is your project for today.